Praise the Lord. I am so glad that God is not dead. Oh, me. So this morning, and we're going to try to get this out the best that we can, and we're going to we just turn it over and say, Lord, here am I, use me. But I want y'all to keep praying for us this morning because of what I want to get across to you, and I don't have time to do all of it. If I'd done all of it, we'd be here till time to get on the hayride. So I've never done a series of sermons before, but this may be my first one ever. But anyway, we'll go as far as we go, and we'll see what the Lord brings to us for next week. But what I've been thinking about, and I've been thinking and praying a lot about that God's not dead, and I've been thinking and doing a lot of praying about it, and where the Lord led me to is the altar. You said, preacher, what are you talking about? I wonder how many of us, if I ask you individually, I don't want to embarrass anybody or anything. How many of us know what this altar's for? How many of us know the uses of this altar? How many of us even know what this altar represents this morning? You see, we live in a day and time as we preached to you here a couple of weeks ago about the relentlessness of the devil that's coming after us, the relentlessness, and how many times he's going to face you, how he's going to pull you down, how he's going to fight you tooth and nail. But I wonder, if, even though we know what the devil's doing, do we really know how to stand up and fight him? Do we really know how to get down on our knees and fight against the things that this world's going to throw at us? And so as I was praying about this and I was thinking about this is where the Lord led me to, was the altar. And if you go back and you study and you think about the altar, numerous times the children of Israel built an altar unto the Lord to worship the Lord. When they crossed the Red Sea and the Lord divided the water and it said they walked upon dry ground. What did they do when they got to the other side? The Bible said they built an altar to worship God. They built an altar there because they wanted to give him praise. If you go on down, when David was moving the Ark of the Covenant back, when he finally found it, it said that he picked it up, and as they started out, it said, the Bible actually said he went 6 steps and then built an altar. He was giving God the glory for what he had done. You see, we've come to a day and time anymore, we are scared to death of this altar. We come to a day, today's church and today's church people, we are scared to death of an altar. Why are we scared of an altar? Well, if I go up there, somebody's going to think I've been terrible. And I just give you 2 examples of people glorifying God on an altar. And so as I was studying the altar, the actual meaning of altar, and this was really interesting to me. The actual meaning of an altar is a place of sacrifice. And when I thought about that, I thought, oh my, the sacrifice my Jesus made for me. The sacrifice that was made for me. And then I think about a place of sacrifice. And I thought about my life. And I thought about the shortcomings I have in serving God. And I thought, I have to continually go back to that altar. I have to continually go back to it because I want to sacrifice myself. I want to humble myself down. Because I want God to lift me up and take me to the places he wants to go. He can't get there when Darren stands in the way. Darren has to get out of the way. I can't stand against the devil that's going to fight me in this old world. I can't stand against the temptations that's going to come my way. I have to get out of the way and say, Lord, here am I. I have to go to that place of sacrifice. Put myself down upon that altar. Get myself say, Lord, here am I, use me.
Amen. That's right.
And I have to do it every day. Every time every morning when I wake up. Now, no, I don't drive to the church and come up here to this altar. I have many altars. One of them for the steering wheel of my truck. Ooh, that's a good one right there. But I got to thinking about this, and I run across this scripture. I've read it several times, and I think I've even preached on this. It's been years ago. But I run across this scripture, and I will dig more into this, but I want to tell you just a real quick story. Y'all know King David, right? Well, King David had a son, and his son's name was Adonijah. It was Solomon's half-brother is who it was. And when King David got sick, and King David was about to pass away, he was about to die, Adonijah took this, he actually went to Joab, which was the host of David's armies and stuff, and he went to, I can't remember that other guy's name, but one of the priests. And anyway, he was trying to take over the kingdom. He kind of anointed himself as king. Well, he didn't anoint, but he said to himself he was the king. And so what Adonijah done is he went out and he was having this great big party and all this good stuff, and the people were recognizing him as a king, and they were calling him king and all that. But then it was brought back to David's attention. This was before David had died, and it was brought back to David's attention that David had promised Solomon the kingdom. And so during this time when Adonijah and all this was going on, David appointed Nathan and Zoar and Benadad, and I can't remember who all it was. But anyway, he told them to go out and anoint Solomon as king of Israel. In other words, he said, this is my son, this is going to be the king of Israel. One spot in here I thought it was really interesting. It said that Adonijah was picked by the people, but Solomon was picked by the Lord. I thought that was really good. But anyway, so they anointed Solomon as king, and so Adonijah, he kind of got a little scared. Matter of fact, they was having this little shindig, they was having this party, they had sacrificed all these animals and all this, and then word comes that Solomon has been anointed king. Everybody that Adonijah had brought in with him, poof, gone. They scattered. So I want to pick up here, and that's kind of a background. If you want to read it, it starts in 1 Kings chapter 1, starting the very first verse, and then you'll go down and you'll read through it all. But I want to pick up in verse 50 there. It's the very last part of it. It said, and Adonijah feared because of Solomon. He knew Solomon was king. And see, when you're trying to take over the kingdom, that's not a good thing. They tend to kill you over, to be honest with you. But he said that he feared because of Solomon. He knew Solomon would come up again. He arose and went and caught hold on the horns of the altar. And when I read this, man, it just stuck out to me. And the Lord opened my eyes. And it said Adonijah, he was in fear of his life. Adonijah was in a point that he knew Solomon was coming after him. He knew he was guilty. He knew Solomon was coming after him. So what did he do? He ran to the altar and grabbed a hold to the horns of him. If you go back and study the early altars, there was two altars in the temple. There was an altar of sacrifice and an altar of incense. And one of the things that it says in all of the altars is that they had horns. It was all made out of one-piece wood. They had horns sticking out of them, and they were covered with bronze. And so what Adonijah done, when he thought he was about to die, when he knew Solomon was coming after him, is he took up and he run and he grabbed a hold to the altar. And why he done that is because mercy can be found at the altar. You see, when criminals there, and we'll get on down into this, well, I better go ahead and read it. It said, and it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah feareth King Solomon, for lo, he hath caught hold on the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear unto me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall in the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. And so what Adonijah done here is he was looking for mercy from Solomon. He was looking, he knew that he had done something wrong, but it wasn't unpardonable, it wasn't unforgivable, and he was looking for mercy. And he knew that Solomon wouldn't shed the blood on the altar. So he wanted to grab a hold. He went in there and he clung onto that altar. I can just see him now, getting on his knees and just locking onto it and say, I'm not leaving until I'm promised mercy. And when I read this and the Lord was pointing this out, it was just like I'm sitting here talking to you. The Lord spoke to me and he said, when was the last time you come to my altar and you locked down upon my altar crying out to me? When was the last time that you looked at your life and said, oh, all the times that I've done wrong, all the things that I've done in my life. When was the last time I got a hold to the horns of the altar and I just cried out, said, Lord, I need your mercy. Lord, I need your grace. Lord, I need your love in my life. Lord, I need you more today than ever before. When was the last time we took ourselves and sacrificed ourselves right there on that altar and said, Lord, here am I want to be your child. I want to do what you want me to do. Amen. But you see, we're so scared of the altar. Adonijah come up to it and he said, oh, he knew. And what did he say? He said, I'm not going to leave here unless Solomon swears that he's not going to kill me. And y'all come let me paraphrase it here. He said, I'm not leaving unless Solomon swears. Solomon told him, and I like the way Solomon put it. He said, if you stay in the right path, if you will, if you stay a righteous person. Oh, y'all not getting this, are you? Y'all not getting this, are you? He said, if you stay in my will, if you stay on my side, if you do the things I told you to, mercy shall be yours. Y'all not getting this, are you? Amen. Let me tell you something. Lord, my Jesus hung upon a cross. He said, by his stripes I am healed. But he said, my mercy endureth forever. My grace aboundeth much. It's all right there at the altar. He said, if you'll stay in my will, my grace will never stop. My mercy will never quit. My love will always be there. Whoa, we need to get a hold of the horns of the altar. We need to get down and cry out to him. You see, we have made the altar such a thing that people don't want any part of it no more. We have made the altar, it's almost become a shameful place. It rips my heart out that we think that we get to the altar to that point. Because, we say, well, somebody's going to think I've done something awful. Or I'm okay. I've been in church for 20, 30, 40 years. Praise God. I'm glad you dedicated your life to the church. Now dedicate your life to Jesus. Get a hold of the altar this morning. Grab a hold of the horn. The mercy's there for you. You need strength. The strength's there for you. You need love. Love's there for you. You need some chains broke. He's ready to cut them off. But you got to ask for it. He ain't going to take no ball back, and he ain't going to drive you up there. But he said it's right here for you. He said it's right here. The horns of the altar are waiting for you. I wonder when the last time we got a hold of them. When was the last time You know, the Bible teaches us so many times. It even tells us, it says you have not because you ask not. He says the prayers of a fervent man, the prayers of an honest man, the prayers of a faithful man, the prayers of a righteous man, if you will, availeth much. Church, let me tell you something. People ask why we don't see the miracles and the things going on anymore. It's because we've let go of the horns of the altar. We have let go of the place of sacrifice because it's too much work to live for Jesus outside of Sunday morning. We want to walk outside these doors and walk in the ways of the world. We don't want to have to give up maybe a little bit of something out there. We want it all. We want both sides of the fence, if you will. But I want to tell you something. If you will get a hold of the horns of the altar, if you will get down on your knees, cry out to Jesus today. Let him know you love him. Let him know you want to walk with him. Sacrifice yourself to him. Amen. He said, I'm going to walk with you every step of the way. He said, there's nothing you'll go through that I won't go through with you. He said, it may get rough, but I'm going to pick you up and pack you. He said, it may get ugly, but we're going to dress it up as best we can. He said, I'm going to be with you. Oh, come on now. He said, get a hold of the horns of the altar. Adonijah was looking for mercy. Because he was afraid of his life. And what did Solomon tell him? Solomon said, if you live a righteous life, if you be that fervent man. Oh, come on now. He said, if you be that fervent man, if you be that righteous man, if you live a life honored to the King Solomon, he said, a hair will never fall from your head. He said, but if you go back to your wicked ways, he said, you shall surely die. Now, I'm going to put you in on a little secret. If you go to the next chapter of Kings, you're going to find out that Adonijah actually stood up against Solomon again, and Solomon had him struck dead right there on the spot. You say, preacher, why are you bringing that up? Because I want to tell you something. The power of this altar is the faith that's in your heart. If you don't have faith in the power of that altar, then my friend, yes, you are condemned already. You are on your way to split a devil's hell wide open. But he says, there is life in me. All you got to do is give it to me. But Adonijah, he needed that promise. And Solomon said, you die. He said, if you live with me. He said, if you'll follow me as a king. He said, you're going to be fine. Church, I want to tell you something. The Lord's told each of us that. He said, if you'll live for me. He didn't say, I'm going to put you on a cloud and you're just going to slide through life. But he said, I'm going to walk with you. He said, I'm going to talk with you. He said, when you hurt, I'll hurt. He said, when you rejoice, I'll rejoice. And he said, when you talk to me, he said, I'm going to hear you. Amen. God, he did that, didn't you? He said, when you cry out to me, he said, I'm going to hear you. He said, I'm going to be listening to my people. How is it created sin? Well, my people who are called by my name will what? Humble themselves. Sacrifice self to him. And pray. Get a hold of the horns of the altar. Then he said, I'm going to heal their land. Oh, then he said, I'm going to come back to them. You want to know why you feel like you're walking all alone? When was the last time you got a hold of the horns of the altar? When was the last time you knelt down and started talking to God? And I don't mean bow your head and say, Lord, thank you for this food, or Lord, bless us for no more. I mean, get down on your earnestness. Get down on your humbleness. Get down upon your altar. If it be your bedside, your couch, your steering wheel, wherever it may be, and sit there and talk to the Lord. Sit there and let him know what you're feeling. He said you have not because you ask not. He don't know because you ain't told him. When was the last time that we got down and got on the altar and started talking to the Lord? Lord, Lord, help me grow. Lord, draw me closer. Lord, give me more. Yeah. You know, so many times we get so satisfied. We get so satisfied. I'm good. I go to church every Sunday. Praise God. I'm glad you do. Well, me and the Lord talk at least twice a week. Well, praise the Lord. That's better than none. But when was the last time? You know, I always read it. I never did quite understand it. But I always read it. I think it's in there in the first chapter of the book of Revelations. And John said that the Spirit caught him up into the third heaven. When the third heaven, he said? I think it was the third heaven. He said that he pulled him up into the third heaven. And I thought about that and I thought, oh my. But you know, he teaches us so many times about getting off of the milk and getting into the meat of the word. I wonder how many of us are still on the milk of the Spirit. How many of us has got down and said, Lord, I'm ready to get on some meat of the Spirit. I'm ready to be something for you. I don't mean just somebody to sit in a pew. I don't mean somebody just to take up a little bit of oxygen. But Lord, I'm ready to be more for you than I am for this world. I'm ready. I want people to know that when I walk by and say, God, bless me, I want them to feel it. I don't want it to just be a touch. But I want Terry to know it's not just my hand that's laying on his back. I want him to know how many of us have a desire in our life that we want to grow stronger and closer to God. How many of us have a desire in our life that we want our spiritual life to be stronger and better than our physical life? Amen. You see, Adonijah was seeking mercy, and he found it. Church, you can find strength right here. You can find growth right here. You can find love right here. I thought about this scripture, and this is Darren's point of view, so y'all don't quote me on this. This is Darren's point of view. But I thought, what would have happened if he hadn't got a hold of the altar? Y'all ever do that? Or something different happened? And I thought, what if Adonijah hadn't went to the tabernacle and got a hold of the altar? What would have happened to him? You ever thought about it? I believe he would have been killed. I believe he would have. There would have been no mercy for him. There would have been nothing there. And you see, church, that's the way we are. If we don't ask God for more, there's going to be nothing there. Let's get a hold of the horns of the altar. You want to see our church grow? I want to see our church grow. But I want to see our church grow in spirit. I want people that drive by to say, wait a minute, I felt something just driving down the road. I want them to know it. I want them when they see you out in public. I want you to be like Moses, where he had to cover his face because he was shining, because he looked upon the Lord. Amen. That ought to be our desire this morning. Yes. That ought to be our desire this morning. We can have it if we want it. That's right. You can have it if you want it. But don't forget the second part of the story. Solomon told Adonijah, he said, if you follow the king, you'll be fine. He received his mercy. Until you read on over, and he turned against the king, and he received his death. Church following the Lord is a serious business. It's 7 days a week. It's 24 hours a day. It's every time you see each other. It's everywhere you go. I don't care if you're at church, you're at home, you're at work. It doesn't make no difference. We have to follow the same Jesus. He said there's strength, there's power, there's mercy, there's grace. Anything you want is right there to hold to the horns of the yoke. He said if you follow my will and keep my commandments. Would you stand with us this morning? I just want to invite you to come. I don't know how to ask you. I don't know how to. I just want to invite you to come. The horns of the altar's here. God's not dead. Ooh, He's not dead this morning. But it's here. If you want to worship, He's here. If you need mercy and grace, He's here. If you need a healing in your body, He's here. If you believe it. I just want to invite you to come.